An update now on vaccinations in Georgia. More than 920,000 people have been vaccinated so far, according to the state. Nearly 10,000 people were vaccinated yesterday, and the state has given out over 69% of the vaccines received. Cherokee County's new, larger vaccination clinic opens today. It's at Canton First Baptist Church. That's about 20 minutes north of the old location at the Woodstock Health Center. It's open from 8 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. People who have appointments can get vaccinated free of charge. If you received your first dose at the health center, you should now go to the church for your second appointment. And with this change, the county will be able to vaccinate several more people at the same time, preparing for when more vaccines become available.